Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a Chart Nerd technical analysis video. Today we will be discussing VELO. The ticker is VELO against USDT on the weekly time frame. So there's a couple of things that I really wanted to share with you today, and I do apologize for not getting any content out. I've been away in Poland enjoying time with my family and with nature and stuff. It's been a fantastic time, but I'm back now and I'm ready to get back into VELO and have a look at what's going on here. So studying the weekly time frame, what I'm actually looking for at the moment is this ascending level of support within this horizontal triangle that we've been monitoring for the past few months here. And what you'll notice is we've had this double bottom that is currently holding a support right now on 0.011. So we had this double bottom before. I do apologize. We've broken out, met the technical target, and right now we are correcting back down to the previous resistance of this double bottom and looking to hold it as support. So that retest has actually been complete. You'll see that this wick as of last week actually came back down and retested these previous candle closes at 0.011. So that's the key area of support that really needs to hold right now, and you can see that it ties up with ascending support and previous double bottom resistance as well. So this zone really needs to hold here moving forward to invalidate any further downside, of which I will show you the targets for shortly. Now, what I think is occurring here, and the bullish scenario, the bullish side for us right now for VELO, is the fact that we are pulling back in some sort of flag here or falling channel after an impulsive move from the double bottom. So you'll notice that from this low on ascending support, we had this wave up over the space of 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. So throughout September, we had a nice impulsive move. We ran into this descending resistance and created it on our heads, which led us into this triangle. So we're sort of compressing in the triangle. Now, when we reach this resistance level, we're now starting to pull back for a key level of support, and we're doing this in a bullish reversal pattern for this trend. So we've come up from an impulsive move, and we're just correcting to a key level of support, back on this double bottom, back on ascending support right here, looking for continuation of the trend. So it looks like we're in some sort of bull flag, and we've had this flagpole, and right now we're in the flag looking for the breakout. So if this is the case, what we can say is from there to there, when we eventually break out of this resistance, and if we do hold this support, we're sort of looking for a move potentially if we go up to where the actual breakout point could go to, because right now we're in the apex. So this could last all the way until December, where we could sort of squeeze here, get really tight and compressed in this triangle, and then look for the break. And if we do get the break, then it could lead us up to 0.033, and this would confirm my theory of a 1, a 2. This is a wave 3 into resistance. We've had the flag for the wave 4, complex A, B, C correction, and then we get the big last final move, which would take out our local high up to the target. So that's the bullish case scenario for me. We're in this bull flag, looking for a key level of support on the previous double bottom on ascending support before continuing the trend and taking out this resistance and the previous local high at 0.028. So that is the bullish scenario, but for that to happen, we have to hold a key level of support here. We have to hold the 0.011 slash 0.011 and the 0.010 low, because if we fail to hold 0.011, then we're in a little bit of trouble here. If we come back and lose it, we're in a bit of trouble. So we need to hold that sort of range, 1, 2, 1, 1, hold around here. Failing that, we have 0.010 below as a key level of support also. And I think right now it's just a test of time, really and truly. We're just looking, sorry, this is the correct fib I should have had on the chart. We're just looking to hold support and to come back for a key level before continuation. Okay, we're in this, as I said before, complex A, B, C. We've come back to the 0.50 at 0.011. If I just zoom in a bit, you'll see it a bit better. We've come back to this point for support. Right here, you'll see the last week touched on that support line with some resistance here, confirmed the support. We had the impulsive move, a bad wick fake out, and we've pulled back down. But we're still holding this ascending support, and we're still inside this triangle, which is getting really tight into a corner here. And compression normally leads to expansion within an uptrend. So we're really looking to hold support here and build this base up, looking to break resistance. We need to do that moving forward, and the key levels to hold are 0.011. And if we do get any further downside here, I think that we're potentially looking for 0.010, and that could give the potential fake out or deviation point outside of the triangle before a impulsive move leading into the end of the year. That is also another scenario. So if ascending support is lost here and we lose the 0.50, the next key area of support is 0.010. Keep that in mind, guys. That's the key level of support if we lose this triangle support. Okay, if we start losing it, this is our last leg before we could get that impulsive move. So that's the bullish scenario, holding the support now, coiling up, getting the breakout, or losing it, holding 0.010 and then getting the recovery after a deviation. That is two possible bullish scenarios for me. Now, if we want to analyze a bit more of a zoomed out perspective here, and if Bitcoin doesn't, let's say, pick itself up, because Bitcoin's really the key player here, guys. We have to keep our eyes on Bitcoin dominance, because at the moment its market share is, Bitcoin dominance is above 60%. So 60% of the market share is currently in Bitcoin, and we need to keep our eyes on what it does, because if it starts to tank now, we are going to also fall with it going into the end of the year. However, if it does start to recover, what I think potentially is going on is we could be in sort of mid-term phase one of Bitcoin on the path to alt season, where there's certain phases of a breakdown. I will try and get into that in a bit more of a different video, but as Bitcoin gains majority of the market share and starts to pump, we may see altcoins crab or drop a little bit and go sideways whilst Bitcoin retains its market share. That's normally the first part of the phase leading to alt season. It doesn't feel good, but it's a normal part of the process. So if that is the case and we're to analyze a short-term bearish scenario, the way that I would look at it is that from our local high right here, retracing back down to this previous low in August of 2023, which, by the way, this low is our current level of support here. So we are currently testing this line of support, ascending support, that we've had for over a year. Now, what's ironic to me is that we had the retest of the first low in August, and then in October, November is where we started to breaking out. Fast forward to where we are, we had the low here that confirmed the bottom in August. We've had the impulsive move and a retest now to the ascending support. Are we due for continuation? So this is just, sorry, I meant to be showing you the bearish side of things here, the mid to macro bearish targets if we lose support. But this is also another bullish point of contact that I wanted to show you, and I forgot to show you as well. So getting rid of that now, I just want to show you that's for confluence and why this 0.011 is so important to hold. But yeah, as you will notice, we've got so far the 0.50 is a key level of support, and if we start coming down and lose this ascending support and hit our heads on it, then potentially we could be looking for a larger correction and another potential macro sort of double bottom on this 0.007. And if that does come into play, then oh my god, what an opportunity it will be for VELO. Now, as I've said, I think this will only be the case if Bitcoin does sort of retrace further and start pulling back down from the 60s, potentially to the lower 60s, high 55s. And I think that, you know, altcoins still have some sort of path down before any chance of recovery. So the bearish scenario for me is to hold 0.006 if we fail to hold our ascending support in this triangle that we've been monitoring, and when we're leading up into that sort of compression zone, apex zone for VELO. So it's all about holding this 0.011 neckline right now. Failing that, we could look for a further drag down and get a double bottom, a larger macro double bottom. I know we had a small one here, guys, but what you want to see after a correction is that formation and then a breakout. Now, what you'll notice is on this breakout, we failed to take out this high. So right now, what that is saying to me is if we can't hold support on the previous double bottom on this low foundation from this correction, and we can't hold it here and continue, then the likelihood is potentially we're going to start drawing back down to this range and retest it once more going to the end of the year. So it's all about holding the 0.011. I've said it many a time. Right now, we are sort of getting this compression into that area, looking for a decision. Now, if we do start picking up, fantastic. And we look for higher levels, as I've given you before. But if we break down, then we do have lower lows below to look out for. Now, what also is very interesting is that if we go back to the all-time low of December 2022. So keep this in mind. December, November have also been bad months for VELO in the past, but they've also shown a positive return in the last year too. So, you know, it's kind of fair on either side of the scenario since the all-time low in such cases anyway, to say that right now it could be a 50-50 chance of holding support or losing it and retracing towards the end of the year. Just looking at previous VELO data here, for the last 2 years since our all-time low. So that is a huge potential. Now, if we do start retracing and losing that key level of support, then what you'll notice is potentially somewhere else down the line, we have this 0.005 range on the macro. Now, I'm not saying, guys, that this is a play and is going to happen for VELO. I have covered this before and shared it on X a couple of times as well, but we have to cover all scenarios. We do. If Bitcoin does start to roll over and we do see a steep correction for VELO and start losing such levels, we have to keep these considered targets in mind for consideration. So what I'm looking for here would potentially be a really large macro ABC, where we've had this A wave, this was the B, and then you get your C wave back down to a key level of support. Now this would lead into January, potentially January, December of this year, December to January, for God's sake, December 2024 into January. You know what I mean. I keep repeating myself. I'm really sorry. It's been a few days, forgive me. But we've got this ascending support, and if we do come back for a really large correction and start losing this 0.011 and 10, then potentially we're in a large sort of move here, in a large ABC, where over the next couple of months, if Bitcoin rolls over, then we have the chance or potential to come down to this ascending support line that's been holding since 2022. So we've got two key levels of support, 0.011 and also 0.010, and this ascending level of support that I just had on the chart there for the weekly as well. Looking at the monthly for VELO, it still looks relatively healthy for me. There's still really no cause for concern. We have this candle closes on the monthly that haven't actually been back tested yet. So this is another sort of area that VELO could come back down to, because as you know, we have been monitoring the Adam and Eve pattern, where we had this V-shaped recovery, which was the Adam, the round bottom, which was the Eve. We had the breakout, we came back to support. Right now we've put in a lower high than the previous high, and we've seen a rejection. So we could just be coming back down to retest these previous two monthly candles of February and March of 2023 and looking to hold them as support as well. So that's also something to keep your eyes on the macro, where we could have had just this A, B, flat C correction back down to these candle support. Now this is at 0.009. So if we do sort of come back down there and get a flat correction and get some candle closes lower than the previous ones, create some sort of divergence, potentially bullish divergence on the larger time frames, then who knows, that could also indicate the low for VELO moving forward. So there's many things that I'm keeping my eyes on right now. At the moment, I remain neutral until Bitcoin makes a decision itself on which direction it wants to go. I do plan to cover that in a video in the near short term, so keep your eyes peeled. But for right now, VELO's key level of support to hold for me is 0.011 on the double bottom of the previous formation pattern here for VELO. So you'll notice that we had this double bottom, as I've said, that this is where we're basically holding right now as support. Previous double bottom resistance is now acting as support. So if we can hold it, fantastic, right? Because we had this double bottom, we've broken out, we've now come back to it as support. If we can hold it here and look for the continuation, fantastic. But failing that, if we lose it and start to hit our heads, then I think we've got a bit more of a path coming back down to these previous lows that we've had in the past for VELO, and it's a key support zone at around 0.007. So far so good. There's nothing to be concerned about. Yes, there is a potential for a bit more of a retracement over the next couple of weeks if Bitcoin doesn't behave, but we are also right now still intact and holding this 0.011. So I can't say that this bearish scenario is going to play out. Right now we are still in bullish territory, holding above a key level of support, looking for a push out of this falling sort of wedge that we've been in for the last couple of weeks, back down to this previous double bottom for support, and looking for the continuation. So right now I'm still technically short-term bullish for VELO as long as it can hold that range. Failing that, as I've mentioned, we have those targets I've shown you previously, and these wicks that you can see this right here, this sort of level is a key level of support for VELO at 0.007. So I hope you've enjoyed the content today. I do apologize, it's a bit all over the place. It's my first video back for a few days. Do forgive